Bienvenidos al pretérito versus el imperfecto. You will learn the differences between the two past tenses today. The preterite is used in different occasions such as when you have a completed action. Example, ya terminé la tarea. The homework has been finished. You can also use the preterite for one-time action, when it's done and over. Ayer fui a la tienda a comprar leche. And an action with a clear beginning and end. Bailamos por 3 horas. It happened for 3 hours. There are also some words called triggers. These words let us know that we always use the preterite when they are there. Un día, one day. Una vez, once or one time. El año, verano pasado, last year, last week. Hace un mes, 1 month ago. El lunes, Monday. El 3 de abril, April 3rd, or any other date. Repitan, un día, una vez. El año, verano pasado. Hace un mes, el lunes, el 3 de abril. A las 8, 8 o'clock. Ayer, yesterday. Anteayer, the day before yesterday. Anoche, last night. Dos veces, twice or 2 times. Ya, already. Por una hora, for an hour. A las 8, ayer, anteayer, anoche, 2 veces, ya, por una hora. Let's look at some of the conjugations and remember them. For regular verbs, here are the examples. For AR, we have hablé, hablaste, habló, hablamos, hablasteis, hablaron. For ER verbs, we have comí, comiste, comió, comimos, comisteis, comieron. And for IR verbs, we have viví, viviste, vivió, vivimos, vivisteis, vivieron. There's also the irregular yo verbs, such as car, gar, and sar in the preterite. Let's look at what they look like in the yo form. We have the verb sacar, which becomes saqué. The verb pagar, which becomes pagué. And the verb empezar, which becomes empecé. Everything else conjugates as a regular AR verb. Remember that the verb sacar means to take out, pagar, to pay, empezar, to begin or to start. There are also some irregular verbs. Let's look at 5 of them. The verbs ir and ser, which means to go or to be, conjugate in the same forms. Fui, fuiste, fue, fuimos, fuisteis, fueron. Then we have the verb ver. Vi, viste, vio, vimos, visteis, vieron. And the verb dar. Di, diste, dio, dimos, disteis, dieron. And the verb hacer. Hice, hiciste, hizo, hicimos, hicisteis, hicieron. There are also many other irregular verbs, and don't forget they do not have accents. These verbs right here follow the same pattern. They have a different stem, and they use the endings on the right side of the screen. Let's look at some stem changing verbs or sandal verbs in the preterite, such as the verb pedir. Notice that the bottom is different from the rest. There's a change from an E to an I, such as pidió and pidieron. Here's another example, o to you, such as the verb dormir. Notice that the bottom The el, ella, and the ellos, ellas form is different. Durmió and durmieron. There are also some verbs called spell-changing verbs. This is because the I changes to a Y, such as the verb oír, where you have oyó and oyeron. Another example is the verb construir, which means to build. Notice that the bottom also changes from an I to a Y. Construyó, construyeron. Now let's look at how we use the imperfect. Ongoing actions, repeated actions, no definite beginning or end, time, date, age, feelings, descriptions, and interrupted activity. Let's break this down. But before that, let's look at the triggers. Todos los días, every day. A veces, sometimes. Cada día, semana, año, each day, each week, each year. Generalmente, generally. De vez en cuando, once in a while. Frecuentemente, frequently. Todos los días, a veces, cada día, cada semana, cada año, generalmente, de vez en cuando, frecuentemente. Here's some more. A menudo, often. Siempre, always. Los lunes, on Mondays or any other days. Los martes, los miércoles. Mientras, while or meanwhile. And muchas veces, many times. A menudo, siempre, los lunes, mientras, muchas veces. Let's look at the imperfect overall. If you remember what a deal, it'll help you remember when to use the imperfect. Weather, hacía mucho calor. Habit or health. Antes jugaba voleibol mucho. Age. Tenía 5 años cuando nos movimos. Time. Eran las 4 de la tarde cuando llegué. Appearance. El ladrón era muy feo. Date. Era el 4 de julio cuando firmaron la Declaración de Independencia. Emotion. Tenía mucho miedo. Attitude or desire. Quería abrazarlo. And last but not least, location. Estaba justo aquí cuando me llamó mi mamá. Once again, don't forget to remember what a deal to remember when you use imperfect. Weather, habit, health, age, time, appearance, date, emotion, attitude, desire, location. Let's look at the conjugations of the imperfect now. Remember, most verbs are regular. Let's look at an example for AR. Hablaba, hablabas, hablaba, hablábamos, hablabais, hablaban. For ER, comía, comías, comía, comíamos, comíais, comían. And for IR, escribía, escribías, escribía, escribíamos, escribíais, escribían. And last but not least, the 3 irregular imperfect verbs. The verb ir, which means to go, iba, ibas, iba, íbamos, ibais, iban. The verb ver, which means to see, veía, veías, veía, veíamos, veíais, veían. And ser, which means to be, era, eras, era, éramos, erais, eran. Now this is a look at the preterite versus the imperfect. Please go back and watch again when you need to review. Have fun!